Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're here, you probably depend on Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits to get by. And if that's you, I need you to sit down for this one, because what I'm about to share is going to affect millions of Americans starting this Tuesday. An executive order has already been signed that's going to change how benefit payments work, and the changes take effect this Tuesday. Frankly, some of you are going to see delays while others might actually see improvements. I know that's confusing. That's exactly why I spent the last 2 days digging through this 47-page report so you don't have to. I'm Tony from Retirees Benefits. And for those of you who are new here, I've been covering benefit changes and financial assistance programs for over 6 years. I started this channel after my own family went through a rough patch when my husband was laid off, and we had to navigate the maze of government assistance for the first time. I know what it feels like to refresh your bank account at midnight hoping your payment came through. Before we dive in, let me just say I see you in the comments every single day. Single moms trying to make ends meet, veterans waiting months for disability determinations, seniors choosing between medication and groceries. This isn't just policy to me. These are real people with real needs, and that's exactly how I'm going to break this down for you. So, let's start with what this executive order is actually trying to accomplish. According to the official statement, and I'm reading directly from the document here, the goal is to modernize benefit delivery systems to reduce processing delays and improve accuracy of payments for vulnerable Americans. Sounds good, right? In plain English, they're saying the current system is outdated and slow, and they want to fix it. Anyone who's ever waited 3 months for a disability decision or had their payment randomly delayed knows this is true. The administration is calling it the Benefits Modernization Initiative, and it affects 4 major programs: Social Security Retirement and Survivor Benefits, Social Security Disability Insurance, that's SSDI, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, and Veterans Affairs Disability Compensation. Here's what they identified as the biggest problems: outdated computer systems that sometimes crash, inconsistent processing times between different regional offices, and what they call verification bottlenecks. Basically, too much paperwork that slows everything down. Let me give you the real numbers because this affects more people than you might think. We're talking about approximately 67 million Americans who receive Social Security benefits, 9 million people getting SSDI, 7.4 million receiving SSI, and about 5 million veterans with service-connected disability ratings. If you're a senior collecting Social Security retirement, this affects you. If you're a disabled person getting SSDI or SSI, this affects you. If you're a veteran with a disability rating, this affects you. If you're a widow or a widower, are you getting survivor benefits? This affects you. But here's who's going to feel this the most during the transition: people who are currently in the middle of applications or appeals. If you filed for disability in the last 6 months and you're still waiting for a decision, you need to pay attention. If you're a veteran who just filed for an increase in your disability rating, this is going to impact your timeline. And moms, I know so many of you are managing benefits for disabled children, or you're single parents receiving survivor benefits. You're going to want to stay extra vigilant about your payments over the next few months. All right, let's get into the specifics, because this is where it gets complicated. The executive order has 3 main phases, and they're rolling them out between now and next fall. Phase 1 starts this Tuesday, and this is the part that might cause some short-term pain. They're updating the computer systems that process payments. The official word is that routine payments should not be affected, but they're also warning that complex cases may experience processing delays of 2 to 4 weeks during the transition period. What does that mean for you? If you get the same Social Security or VA payment every month and nothing has changed in your situation, you should be fine. But if you recently moved, got married, started working part-time, or had any change in your circumstances, your payment might be delayed while they work out the bugs in the new system. Phase 2 comes in March. This is when they're supposed to launch what they're calling Unified Benefit Verification. Instead of having to submit the same documents to 3 different offices, you'll be able to upload everything to one central portal. This actually sounds helpful, but it also means another system change and potentially more delays. Phase 3 is scheduled for September, and this is the part that could actually be good news. They're promising faster disability determinations with a goal of reducing average processing times from 8 months to 5 months for initial SSDI applications. Let me give you some reasons to be cautiously optimistic because it's not all delays and headaches. Here are the improvements they're promising, and some of these could genuinely help. First, they're creating a single phone number for all benefit questions. Right now, you might have to call 3 different numbers and explain your situation 3 times. The new system is supposed to let one representative access all your information and help you with multiple programs. Second, and this is huge for people with disabilities, they're streamlining the medical review process. Instead of having to get new medical records every time you have a continuing disability review, they're going to share information between Social Security and VA medical systems. If you're a veteran with a service-connected disability who also gets SSDI, this could save you months of paperwork. Third, they're expanding online services. You'll eventually be able to upload documents, check application status, and even schedule phone appointments online instead of waiting on hold for 2 hours. And here's something that could help a lot of you. They're planning to send text message notifications about payment dates, application updates, and required actions. No more wondering if your mail got lost or if you missed an important deadline. Now, I have to be honest with you about what I'm worried about because I've covered enough government program changes to know that good intentions don't always equal smooth implementation. Every time they update these systems, some people fall through the cracks. Payments get lost in the transition. Applications disappear from databases and it takes weeks to sort out the mess. The people who suffer most are always the ones who can least afford it. People living paycheck to paycheck who can't afford to have their benefits delayed even 1 week. I'm also concerned about the timeline. They're trying to overhaul systems that serve 90 million Americans in less than a year. That's incredibly ambitious. And when government agencies rush these kinds of changes, mistakes happen. The executive order mentions contingency plans for vulnerable populations, but it doesn't spell out what those plans actually are. What happens if a veteran's disability payment doesn't come through because of a system glitch? What happens if an elderly person's Social Security gets held up and they can't pay for their medication? Here's your action plan, and I want you to do these things this weekend before the changes start Tuesday. First, log into your My Social Security account, your VA account, or whatever benefit portal you use, and take screenshots of everything. Your payment history, your current benefit amount, your contact information, your bank account details. Screenshot all of it. If something goes wrong, you'll have proof of what your benefits should be. Second, make sure your contact information is updated everywhere. If they need to reach you about a problem, you want to make sure they can find you. Third, if you have direct deposit, double-check that your bank account information is correct in all your benefit accounts. A lot of payment delays happen because of outdated banking information. Fourth, if you're currently in the middle of an application or appeal, call and get a status update this week. Find out exactly where you are in the process and when you should expect to hear something. Get reference numbers and write everything down. And fifth, start building a small emergency fund if you can, even if it's just $20 a week. I know that sounds impossible when you're already struggling, but even $100 can make the difference between keeping your lights on and sitting in the dark if a payment gets delayed. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The next few months are probably going to be bumpy. When you're dealing with systems that affect this many people, there are always going to be problems during transitions. But I also want you to remember something. These programs exist because people fought for them. Social Security, disability benefits, veterans benefits. These aren't handouts. You've earned them through your work, your service, or your circumstances. And you have a right to receive them reliably and with dignity. The changes they're making should eventually lead to faster processing, fewer delays, and less bureaucratic runaround. If they actually deliver on these promises, applying for benefits in 2026 could be a completely different experience than it is today. Will there be problems along the way? Absolutely. But the current system is already broken for too many people, so doing nothing wasn't really an option either. Here's what I want you to remember. You're not alone in this. Whether you're a veteran waiting for a rating decision, a single mom applying for disability, or a senior trying to understand your Medicare options, there are people who care about what happens to you. Keep checking your accounts. Keep documenting everything. And don't be afraid to advocate for yourself if something goes wrong. Call your representatives if you need to. Reach out to veterans, service organizations, Contact legal aid if necessary. You have rights and you deserve to have them respected. I'm going to be following this story closely over the next few months. I'll break down every update, every delay, and every improvement as they happen. If you want to stay informed about changes that affect your benefits, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. And check out my video from last week about emergency assistance programs. I'll link it in the description. If these changes do cause payment delays, you want to know what other resources are available to help you get through. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.